Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. So, Hare Krishna, everybody. Thank you very much for joining us today. We'd like to seek the blessings of the Lord and his devotees so that we can enter into the nectar of the Bhagavad Gita. Gita means song, Bhagavad means God, and so Bhagavad Gita is the song of God. And we're going to hear Lord Krishna speak in this chapter. So far, we haven't really heard him much, but in this chapter, we hear him. So let's have a look at chapter 2 of the Bhagavad Gita. It's entitled Contents of the Gita Summarized. And a very brief summary of this chapter. We're not going to get through the whole of this chapter today. I was thinking we could try, but there's so much in this chapter. It's better we take our time and do it over 2 sessions. So, second chapter is actually a summary of the whole philosophy. The whole of the Bhagavad Gita is summarized effectively in chapter 2. Arjuna initially approaches Krishna in a mood of humility and desperation, is prompting Krishna to present this fundamental principles of spiritual wisdom to him, which will show us our real identity and what are we supposed to do in our life. This is the whole purpose of the Bhagavad Gita. And so Krishna explains the practical application of this Vedic wisdom. And he also concludes this chapter by, well, he gives the information about how one should perform one's duty. And then he concludes by giving an idea of what are the symptoms of one who has fully realized this truth that he is giving. So in this way, Krishna summarizes the spiritual journey from beginning to end in this one chapter. So in one sense, however, of course, there is no end because our spiritual journey just continues because this is the point about the eternity of the soul, which we will see in a minute. Okay, so I'm going to mute everybody, if you don't mind. Or you won't be able to unmute yourself. I hope I'm not muted. Okay. So we'd like to ask volunteers to read this first 5 verses. Who'd like to read? Okay, Ishwari, you can unmute yourself. And then with Srinitya, you're a little too young to read, I think. But we'll give you a chance a little later, another time, right? Okay, go for it, Ishwari.
Sanjaya said, seeing Arjun full of compassion, his mind depressed, his eyes full of tears, Madhusudan Krishna spoke the following words. The Supreme Personality of Godhead said, my dear Arjun, how have these impurities come upon you? They are not at all benefiting a man who knows the value of life. They lead not to higher planets, but to infamy. O son of Parth, do not yield to this degrading impotence. It does not become you. Give up such petty weakness of heart and arise, O chastier of the enemy. Arjun said, O killer of enemies, O killer of Madhu, how can I counterattack with arrows in battle men like Bhishma and Drona, who are worthy of my worship? It would be better to live in this world by begging than to live at the cost of the lives of great souls who are my teachers. Even though desiring worldly gain, they are superiors. If they are killed, everything we enjoy will be tainted with blood.
So Arjun actually is continuing with the same thought process he had at the end of the chapter 1. He's basically saying, how can I kill these people who are in front of me, who are my grandfather, my gurus, my cousins, my uncles, and etc., etc. Even though they may want to fight, why should I? So very interesting, very interesting. Okay, Oh, sorry. So next, Veda. How old are you, Veda?
8.
Okay, try. But if it's too much, then we'll ask somebody else, okay?
Nor do we know which is better, conquering them or being conquered by them. If we kill the sons of the Dashra, we should not care to live. Yet they are now standing before us on the battlefield. Now I am confused about my duty and have lost all composure because of miserly weakness. In the condition I am asking you to tell me for certain what is best for me. Now I am your disciple and a soul surrendered up unto you. Please instruct me. I can find no means to dry away to this grief which is drying up my senses. I will not be able to disciple it even if I win a purpose.
Prosperous.
Unrivaled
Unrivaled.
kingdom on earth with
Sovereignty.
sovereignty like the demigods in heaven. Sanjaya said, having spoken thus, Arjuna, chastiser of enemies,
Chastiser.
and Krishna, Govinda, I shall not fight, and fell silent. Oh,
Descendant.
of Bharata, that at the time Krishna, smiling in the midst of both the army, spoke the following words to the grief-stricken Arjuna.
Not bad. You did very well. Well done. Thank you so much. Thank you. So if you see here, at one point, Arjun says to Krishna, I'm confused about my duty. I've lost my composure. Composure means he's lost his senses really, because of miserly weakness. And then he says this important statement. I'm asking you to tell me for certain what is best for me. I am your disciple and a soul surrendered unto you. Please instruct me. So this is really very important verse, number 7. And then, of course, he later says, I'm determined not to fight. But he's still surrendered unto Krishna. So a summary of these verses. Determined not to fight, but also simultaneously, at the same time, he's torn and confused. Arjun approached Krishna. I am in dire need of guidance. And he humbly submits, please enlighten me so that I can mitigate my miserable condition. This is quite a very important statement. The lesson to learn from this, very important lesson. Through Arjun's example, we learn the art, that first fundamental step in spirituality. That fundamental step in spirituality. I like to ask, does anybody know what is that fundamental step in spirituality? Just put your hand up if you want to answer. What is that fundamental? Yes, Shruti.
When you're in need of help or something, surrender into the Lord.
Yeah. Yes, that's definitely there. But a little bit more than that, if it's possible. Kishan? You can
And she asked for help.
ask for help. Yeah. Again, a little bit more. I'm looking for a little bit more than that. Akasha. Yes.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
You are not your body, you are the soul.
Yeah, that's going to come. Manhar.
Prabhuji, it's Nimai. So
Nimai. Hare Krishna Nimai.
Hare Krishna. So just surrender unto the lotus feet of the Lord.
Yes. Okay. You're getting much closer. Very good. Thank you so much. One must approach a guru. Okay. Here, Krishna is right in front of Arjun. Arjun is so fortunate. He has Krishna as his guru. So one must approach a guru who comes in an authentic line of teachers and he's mastered this spiritual art. Most things in life require guidance and instruction under a qualified teacher, and spiritual discipline is no different. You're all going to school. You're not going to the library, taking the library book to the school and learning yourself, right? You have a teacher, a guide who teaches you. If you want to become a professional, accountant or a doctor, whatever, you have to go through the process of learning. School, college, university, and then professional training. All of this requires so much teaching, learning. So is spiritual science any different? No. In fact, in spiritual life, you need even more a teacher than any other discipline, because spiritual understanding is the most difficult. It's the hardest. And if we don't have a guru, and not just an ordinary guru, a guru who comes in the line of spiritual teachers, authentic line, then we will be lost. This is such an important point. Okay? One may argue that everything they require for their spirituality is contained within. So I have everything within myself. I can learn myself. While this may be true in some extent, we still require help to reawaken that pure inner consciousness. We've forgotten who we really are. We need somebody to wake us up. As the saying goes, one who accepts himself as a guru accepts a fool for disciple. Many people will say to you, I don't need a guru, I can work it out myself. Well, if you worked it out, what are you doing in this world? Wouldn't you be with Krishna in the spiritual world? But look at this, the Lord himself sets the standard. Although he is the absolute truth, the all-knowing, still he accepts a spiritual master when he descends to earth. When he came as Ramachandra, he accepted Vishwamitra as his spiritual guide. He accepted Vashishta as his spiritual guide. Why? He doesn't need a spiritual guide. He's a supreme Lord. He's the source of all spiritual knowledge. But yet, to set the example for us, when he descends to this world, he takes a spiritual master of his own. And he learns from him. It's not he's pretending, he's learning from him. Even though he knows everything, he's still learning. And this is the beauty of this spiritual discipline. When Krishna came 5,000 years ago, after he rescued Devaki and Vasudeva from the prison house, Vasudeva said to him, you're such a good boy, you're 11 years old, you've not been to school. I want you to go to school. And Krishna and Balaram, they said, yes, Pitaji, whatever you say, we will do. So he went to school for 64 days in the ashram of Sandipani Muni. This is Sandipani Muni in Ujjain, Avanti. And for 64 days, he was taught by Sandipani Muni. Of course, Krishna doesn't need any teaching. He's the Supreme Lord, as I said already. But in order to show as an example that taking a spiritual master is a very, very important step. So I want all of you to understand this, that a guru is required. You're learning ordinary subjects, you have a teacher. To learn the most important subject in life, about our spirituality, you need a guru. So in time, you will find the guru if you're looking. The Lord will guide you in the right direction. But when you find a guru, make sure, when you're looking for a guru, make sure that this guru is not a phony, is not a fake guru. There's a real guru who has a real substance behind him, substance within himself in terms of his spiritual knowledge, but also his tradition. Who's his spiritual master? And who's the spiritual master of his spiritual master? Do they link up all the way to Krishna? That's the point. They have to link all the way back to Krishna. Because ultimately, Krishna is the one who gives the knowledge through the different spiritual masters. So I hope that helps understand the importance of taking shelter of a guru, taking shelter of Krishna. When you take shelter of guru, automatically you take shelter of Krishna. Okay. So let's move on to the next section. Now, Kishori, you can read this one page. And then Prathamesh, you can read, and Nimai. Oh, where are you, Kishori? We lost you?
Oh, no.
Okay, go for it, go for it.
The Supreme Personality of Godhead said, while speaking learned words, you are mourning for what is not worthy of grief. Those who are wise lament neither for the living nor the dead. Never was there a time when I did not exist, nor you, nor all these kings, nor in the future shall any of us cease to be. As the embodied soul continuously passes in this body, from boyhood to youth to old age, the soul similarly passes into another body at death. A sober person is not bewildered by such a change. O son of Kunti, the non-permanent appearance of happiness and distress, and their disappearance in due course, are like the appearance and disappearance of winter and summer seasons. They arise from sense perception. O Sion of Bharat, and one must learn to tolerate them without being disturbed. O best among men, Arjun, the person who is not disturbed by happiness and distress and is steady in both is certainly eligible for liberation.
Brilliant. I don't know if you remember when we did the first class, I asked, what is the very first instruction of the Bhagavad Gita? So this is the very first instruction of the Bhagavad Gita, that we are eternal beings. Never was there a time when I did not exist, nor you, nor all these kings, nor in the future shall any of us cease to be. That gives us the eternity of the soul. And then we'll talk about this verse in a little while. But if you see the first verse here, the 11th verse, he's saying, Krishna is basically calling Arjuna a fool. You're speaking learned words, but you are actually mourning for something which is not worthy of grief. So he's immediately put Arjun on the spiritual platform, out of the bodily platform onto the spiritual platform. This is why Bhagavad Gita is one of the most important scriptures in this world. Why? Because it takes you off the bodily platform and into the spiritual platform from the first instruction by Krishna. So this is really powerful. Okay, Prathamesh.
Yes, Prabhuji.
So you can read?
Yes, Guruji. Text 16. Those who are seers of truth have concluded that of the non-existent, the material body, there is no endurance, and of the eternal, the soul, there is no change. This they have concluded by studying the nature of both. Text 17. That which pervades the entire body you should know to be indestructible. No one is able to destroy that imperishable soul. Text 18. The material body of the indestructible, immersible, and eternal living entity is sure to come to an end. Therefore, fight, O descendant of Bharata. Text 19. Neither who thinks the living entity the slayer, nor he who thinks it slain is in knowledge, for the self slays, not nor is slain. Text 20. For the soul, there is neither birth nor death at any time. He has not come into being, does not come into being, and will not come into being. He is unborn, eternal, ever existing, and remember, he is not slain when the body is slain.
So every verse in this section talks about the soul and how it is different from the body. See how much emphasis Krishna is giving on this first instruction. So it's such an important instruction. Okay? If you look at this verse here, for the soul, there is neither birth nor death at any time. Right? He is not come into being, does not come into being, will not come in. He's unborn, eternal. So we are eternal beings. Very important to understand. At the moment, we're thinking we're going to die one day. No, we're not. The body will die, but we will continue to exist afterwards. Okay, Nimai.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna.
Text 21. O Partha, how can a person who knows that the soul is indestructible, eternal, unborn, and immutable kill anyone or cause anyone to kill? Text 22. As a person puts on new garments, giving up old ones, the soul similarly accepts new material bodies, giving up the old and useless ones. Text 23. The soul can never be cut to pieces by any weapon, nor burdened by fire, nor moistened by water, nor withered by wind. This text 24. This individual soul is unbreakable and insoluble, insoluble, insoluble,
Yeah.
and can be neither burdened or dried. He is everlasting, present everywhere, unchangeable, immovable, and eternally the same. Text 25. It is said that the soul is invincible, inconceivable, and immutable. Knowing this, you should not grieve for the body. Text 26. If, however, you think that the soul or the symptoms of life will always be born and die forever, you still have no reason to lament, O mighty arm.
Very good. Thank you so much. Let me just see. Actually, there's only one more. Why don't you just finish this verse off? Oh, no, sorry, there's more. No, okay, let's ask somebody else. Okay, Manhar.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Text 27. One who has taken his birth is sure to die, and after one is sure to take birth again. Therefore, in the unavoidable discharge of your duty, you should not lament. Text 28. All created beings are unmanifest in their beginning, manifest in their interim state, and unmanifest again when annihilated. So what need is therefore 29. Some look on Some look on the soul as amazing, some describe him as amazing, and some hear of him as amazing, while others, even after hearing about him, cannot understand him at all. O descendant of Bharata, he who dwells in the body can never be slain. Therefore you need not grieve for any living being.
Very good. Well done. Thank you so much. Okay. Just go back a touch here. Let's just have a look at, see here, text number 22. Krishna gives an example of the soul in terms of something that we can understand. As a person puts on new garments, giving up old ones. So when our clothes become torn, we throw them away, we buy new ones. We put the new ones on. Similarly, the soul accepts new bodies, giving up old and useless ones. So when this body becomes old and useless, we get another body. That's the process of reincarnation. Very important. Krishna begins this his teachings by telling Arjuna that the most fundamental understanding of spiritual life is about the Atma. As a driver operates a car, or as a bird lives in a cage, we, the spirit soul, are similarly utilizing this body. So the driver is separate from the car. When the driver is in the car can move. If the driver is not in the car cannot move. Similarly, the soul, if it's not in the body appears to be dead. The body is always dead. The body is just made of material nature. That's all. So we should not think that this body is actually alive. The soul is what's making the body look alive. The spirit soul similarly utilizes the body. Although living within the body, we are simultaneously different from it, temporarily operating it to perform activities, fulfilling our desires and interacting with the world around us. The lesson to learn, this distinction is the first teaching that the Guru imparts. At every moment, our bodies are changing. We do not have the same body that we did when we were children, or in your case, when you were babies. But we still remain the same person. Look at this diagram, this painting. This child grows into a boy, and then a young man, mature man, old man, right? Body is changing again and again and again and again. Even this very life, the body is changing so many times. Scientists tell us, not that we believe them all the time, but sometimes we believe them. Every single cell in this body changes every 7 years. Every single cell. So we'll have a new body every 7 years. So we can't be this body because it's changed. It's very simple to understand. It's not difficult. I often go to schools and tell them this, the children who are young children from the age of 5, this same philosophy, and they accept, they completely understand it. It's easy. What is it that is not changing, however? It is important to realize our true identity as spirit soul. Otherwise, we will continuously undergo this process of reincarnation. If we don't understand we are the soul, then we will never leave this world and this process of reincarnation, accepting these unnatural material bodies. These bodies are not suitable for us, but we have to use them to help us develop spiritual consciousness. And there's subsequent sufferings and distresses of life in this material world. So this lesson, I'd like you to put into practice every single day. As soon as you enter the bathroom to brush your teeth, say this. Look in the mirror and say to yourself, I am not this body, I am pure spirit soul, servant of the Supreme Lord. I'd like you to do that every single day. Let's start with today. I am not this body. Please repeat. I am not this body. I am pure spirit soul, servant of the Supreme Soul. So every single day, and I do it every single morning, just before I'm going to brush my teeth, I look in the mirror and I remind myself, I am not this body, I am pure spirit soul, servant of the Supreme Lord. So this is a good lesson. If you do that every single day, not just once, if you can do it many times, it's good, but at least do it once. Eventually, this message will sink in, because up to now, we've lived a life where everything is centered around the body, our relationships, our studies. Nobody's taught you about this important principle in school. And it's the most important, the most basic principle of spirituality, to understand that we cannot be this body, but we are something which is within this body. It's called the spirit soul. So let's see how we're doing for time. Okay, I tell you what, we'll take some extra questions. There's 2 more segments to go through. We won't go through them today. We'll take those on next time, because they're important segments. This one itself is very important to understand, and I'd like to hear what your questions are. There are a few things already in the chat, which I just wanted to quickly address. And in fact, Pari, you've done a very nice answer. If Arjun was called a fool directly, it would have discouraged. Oh yes, so the point was, by Krishna calling him a fool, he didn't call him a fool directly. And that's what Pari was saying, very good. But also their relationship was unique. It was a relationship of friendship. So even if Arjun had been called by Krishna that you're a fool, Arjun would have listened, because that relationship was based on respect and love. So it would not have discouraged him in the slightest, because Arjun knew that Krishna is Supreme Lord, is very much on a higher platform than he is. He would have accepted any points by Krishna. So, and Pari, you've answered it very nicely as well. You're a preacher. You say if Arjun was called a fool directly, it would have discouraged. Actually, it wouldn't have, but your point is right. He didn't call him directly. He's just reminding Arjun of his duty. That's correct. Does the soul have a gender? Fantastic question. In one sense, yes. It's known as Prakriti, inferior, in one sense. And the Supreme Lord is Purush, superior. So in one sense, the soul has a gender. It's considered to be inferior to the Supreme Lord, right? But does it have a gender of male and female? Generally, the gender of the soul is subordinate to the Supreme Lord. You could say female, but it's subordinate. Even the soul has an eternal relationship with the Supreme Lord, and that can be as a gopa, male, or a gopi, female. Right? But in either case, they are subordinate to the Supreme Lord. It doesn't mean that the Supreme Lord is a slave master. The Supreme Lord himself is such an amazing personality that he becomes subordinate to his surrendered devotees. And I'll give you one very, very quick example of that. Mother Yashoda, when Krishna came in this world 5,000 years ago, and he accepted Mother Yashoda as his mother. When she found out he's a butter thief, when he stole from his own home, she ran after him. She caught him. Who can catch the Supreme Lord? Yogis meditate for thousands and millions of years. They can't get anywhere near him. But the mother caught him and she bound him up, tied him up. That can only happen. The Lord became subordinate to his own devotee because of her love for him. Okay, let's just see. No, Manhar, the soul is not male necessarily. The soul is a spirit spark. It may have an eternal relationship with the Lord in the capacity of a male or a female, But ultimately, the soul is spirit, and it is neither male nor female. It is a servant of the Supreme Lord. Yes, Pari, no gender. Very good. Where is the soul in the body? Excellent question. Ishwari and Kishori. Excellent question. It is described that the soul is in the region of the heart. In the region of the heart. Now, if any of these questions you want further clarification, in a second, you can unmute yourself and ask the question, okay? But it is described, it's not in the heart, it's in the region of the heart. That's where the soul lives. Just looking at through your messages. No, the soul is very tiny. The size of the soul is given in one of the Upanishads to be 1/10,000 of the tip of a hair. So if you take your piece of hair and cut it up into 10,000 pieces, that's how big the soul is. It's tiny, minute. But that minute soul can control the body of a little ant or a huge elephant, right? Very powerful living entity. So it has to be in a specific place, but its consciousness emanates throughout the body. That's the point. So its place is close to in the region of the heart. Riyansh, we are all female, Lord is male. That's correct. That is correct. He is Purush, we are Prakriti. But we may have a relationship with the Lord, which is eternal, which may be in a male body, right? And that's a soul, a spiritual body. But ultimately, we are subordinate. Where does the soul go when somebody dies? Fantastic question. You really are the most intelligent children. The soul, yes, Shruti, you're right. It depends. It depends on our karma. Three things, and we'll discuss this in future sessions. Three things impact where the soul will go. One, karma, our behavior, our actions now. Big point. If we misbehave now, we'll get punished. If we behave very well and are very generous and kind and etc., 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 then we'll have a different destination to that which is opposite of then we'll be rewarded for that, right? In different directions. One is karma. Second is our consciousness. What are we thinking? Do we have a consciousness of an animal? In which case, possibly our direction is in animal kingdom. Or do we have the consciousness of divinity, supreme? Then we'll head towards the spiritual world. So karma, consciousness, and the third thing, our desires. What do we want? Krishna fulfills our desires. If we want to stay in this material world and get a Ferrari, or get a huge house in Hollywood, or Bollywood, whatever, then we'll remain in this world. That third element, desire, will take us to our next body. So it all depends on our karma, consciousness, and our desires. So what are the possibilities? Animal kingdom, hellish life. Second possibility is human birth again. Third possibility is we go to the heavens and enjoy in heaven until our good karma is finished and we come back to earth again. The fourth possibility, and the possibility that we all want to aspire for, is head back to the spiritual world in our eternal position with the Supreme Lord. Yeah. And where does the soul go immediately when somebody dies? His next body gets ready quite quickly, and they will they will reincarnate into that body. Why did Arjun's relative not feel sad to fight Arjun? Yes, very good question. Arjun felt sad. He's a devotee by nature, compassionate. But on the other side, they were not so nice people, especially Duryodhan. He was motivated by greed and anger. He didn't care for Arjun and the Pandavas. Even they didn't want to give them a village to rule over. Even he didn't want to give them enough land that can be on a needle. He was so greedy, and he didn't care. He didn't care. Either we go to heaven or we move to no, not necessarily. And even heaven is somewhere we don't want to go. We don't want to go to heaven. Heaven is a place where we'll enjoy, but we'll forget God. Any place where you can forget God is hell. So even heaven is hell because we'll forget God. Earth is a good place to be because here there's a lot of suffering, there's a little bit of enjoyment. That suffering leads us to God because we want to pray to the Lord. My dear Lord, I'm always suffering. Please help me. Help me. That way we remember God. Okay. Really good, really good questions. Now I want to open it up, I think. Let me just skip scrolling down. This point about Ishwari and Ishwari, my mother said you can see the soul through another person's eyes. Actually, it's very, very difficult because we are on the bodily concept. When we look at somebody, we will see male, female, black, white, brown, young, old. The soul is none of those things. None of those things. The soul is pure spirit. At the moment, we have this body. But when we're looking at somebody, are we seeing their soul? Now we'll see in chapter 5, text number 27, the pure sage, he will see in equally a dog, a dog eater, elephant, a sage. He will see them with equal vision. Yeah. So one has to be on that platform to see everybody as soul. It's very high, elevated platform. All right. Wow. Good questions. Now let's actually hear some voices. I've spoken a lot. Do you have to be a human to be liberated? Nice question, Kishori. No. There's an elephant called Gajendra. He was in his last life in the Dumna, and he remembered prayers to the Lord as an elephant, and he was rescued by the Lord. Lord Vishnu came and freed him from his body. So you don't have to be, but generally speaking, human life, human body gives that stepping stone where one can become close to the Lord, but it doesn't have to be in a human form. It's not that only humans will attain the Supreme Lord, no. But generally speaking, yes, you have to be in a human body in order to understand. How do you describe heaven and hell? Nice question. In this material world, even if one is in heaven, as I've mentioned already, it's actually hell. Yes, there's enjoyment there, but you're still in this crazy world. And when that enjoyment is finished, because our good karma is finished, we come back to earth again and we start all over again. What's the point of that? What a waste of time. So what we want to do is we want to aim for that place where we don't come back from. And that is the spiritual kingdom beyond heaven. And we'll talk about this later on in the Bhagavad Gita. Sure, amazing questions, really good. I'm glad we went through that chat. Okay, let's take some questions. Now, Shruti, would you like to, let me close this actually. who's got questions which haven't been answered? And let's pick Ishwari, yeah, or Kishori.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna. Thank you for your questions. Really good.
Thank you. I just wanted to ask why Duryodhan's side was jealous.
That was their nature. It wasn't Duryodhan's side as a whole. It was mainly Duryodhan, and everybody else sort of kept quiet or just went along with it, even if they didn't agree. Karn didn't agree with Duryodhan, but he still went ahead. Bhishma, Drona, Kripacharya, even his father didn't agree with what Duryodhan, but they were so attached to him, or they had a vow which got in the way, or they were employed, like Dronacharya was employed by the kingdom, by Duryodhan's kingdom. So they went along with it. Mainly it was Duryodhan. He was just a very envious, jealous person. That was his nature. And this is one thing which we have to be very careful of. The Lord is teaching us that if you come across jealous, envious people, you try to avoid their company, because otherwise you may get caught up in their world of jealousy and hypocrisy, So that's one of the things that we have to learn.
Okay, thank you, Prabhuji.
Thank you for your question. Really good. Sorry, I saw another really nice question. Why don't we remember our past families and experiences? Really good question. Amazing question. Some people do remember. Yes, there was a 6-year-old boy who remembered. Thing is, if we remember our past life, we could be sitting next to our worst enemy in our last life. How do we know? And we could be thinking, 5 lifetimes ago, you stepped on my right toe and I'm going to get revenge. We'll be constantly, if we remembered our past life, we'll be constantly bugged by these sort of thoughts, seeking some retribution. And so it's a blessing of the Lord that we don't remember anything. It's a clean slate we start with. Of course, we have our karma that we have to live through. That's because we are responsible for our behavior. But we've got a clean slate. And that is actually a great, great blessing. That's the Lord's blessing that we don't remember what's happened in our last lives. And yes, there were some children have remembered their past lives. And generally speaking, they become consumed by the thoughts of their past life and cannot move on. Whereas we have this opportunity where we can move on. Now, we've only got a few minutes left. I just wanted to say, we wanted to do 2 quizzes. One was by Pari, and the second is by Manhar. Now, Manhar, you asked me how to log on to Kahoot. As far as I understand, you can share your screen, and I'm going to allow that facility that you'll be able to share the screen, and everybody can log on to, I think it's a special Kahoot number. So maybe, Pari, you can put your Kahoot number. We still got some time for questions, so we'll take some more questions. But in the meantime, let's get everybody prepared. And then Pari, later in about 5 minutes, 5-10 minutes, you can share your screen. And so we will see the questions. Everybody can log in. So we'll see everybody come on. And then we will have the questions, we'll see it, and we'll go through all the answers. So questions and answers. And Manhar, I think we follow the same procedure. You need to share your screen and to share your, I think, password or whatever it is, the PIN code, so that everybody can log on. And if it gets too complex, we'll have to do it next week, but let's try anyway. Okay, let's take some more questions. Shri Nitya. Okay, Shruti.
Hare Krishna Prabhu, I have a question.
Yes, sure.
I see in Srila Prabhupada and in India, I see a lot of people on their forehead, they wear some sort of symbol like a U with a line. Even Lord Krishna wears it.
Do you see
And
on me?
yes, Prabhuji. Yes, Prabhuji. Yes.
Yeah.
What does that symbolize?
Okay. Basically, this is called tilak. It's clay from India, a sacred clay from a place called Dwarka. And we do a paste with it every day, every morning, and we apply it and we say mantras. The reason we're doing this, we are actually saying to the Lord, my Lord, this is your lotus foot. It's on my head. So I am surrendered to you. My head is at your feet. So it's basically a symbol of Vaishnavism.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Thank you, Prabhuji.
Shaivites wear it like this. Vaishnavas wear it like this. This represents the lotus feet. And this represents Tulsi Maharani. And why does Krishna wear that? Because he's surrendered to his devotees.
Oh.
It's really strange, but that's the only answer I've found over the years. Akasha.
Thank you, Prabhuji.
My question is, what's the difference between a soul and a spiritual soul?
No difference. Exactly the same. Atma, soul, jiva, spiritual soul, same thing. And every soul, every single soul is dear to Krishna. Every single soul. So we may think, oh, this person is horrible. And he may be horrible. But we should also remember, even that person might be horrible. He's still dear to Krishna. He's only horrible because at this moment in time, he's been affected by the different modes of material nature, right? Which you know about, which we'll talk about in future sessions. But ultimately, once we become cleansed of this consciousness of this body and the material consciousness, we become spirit soul, pure spirit soul, or we are spirit soul, but we become pure spirit soul. And Krishna, he likes every spirit soul. He does not discriminate against anybody.
But does that mean both souls last the same time? Like they stay forever?
Yes, all souls live forever.
Okay.
All souls live forever. Yeah. If you remember that verse, I think it was text number 11 or 12. I can't remember exactly. I think it was 11. Natvevaham jatunasam, natvam neme janadipan, na cheva na bhavisha, sarve bhaya mathaparam. Never was there a time when you did not exist, nor I, nor all these kings, nor in the future shall they ever cease to exist. So all the souls are eternal. And there's billions and trillions and trillions and trillions of souls. And this material world is 1/4 of this whole kingdom of the Lord. So you can imagine it's so many souls. Thank you for your question.
I think Leah wants to ask a question.
Okay,
Yeah,
go for it. Go for it.
We remember our past lives.
Do we remember?
Yes.
In the spiritual world, we remember, oh my God, we'll be thinking, I really did that. But here we don't, of course. Mostly
But
we
how
don't.
can you remember it?
Oh, how can you remember? Well, you don't want to. You can. There is some past life regression that one can do. And if the Lord wants to give access to that knowledge, it's available. But why? Who cares what we've done in our last life? We know why we're here. We've done something wrong. And let's find a way to get out. It's just like a doctor, right? You go to a doctor, you got, say, malaria, right? Of course, malaria is a little hard to get in this country, but say you got malaria. Oh, you're in India anyway, right? Say you get malaria and you go to the doctor. The doctor will give you a pill and say, take these pills and you'll get better. He's not going to say to you, find out which mosquito got you. Right? We don't care. How you got that malaria, how we got this body does not matter. What we did in the last life doesn't matter. We've got it. Now we also know what the cure is. We've got malaria. We know the cure is the medicine. So in the same way, we've got this body. We know what the cure is. Let's take the medicine and free ourselves from this world. Does that make sense?
Yes. I have another question as well.
Go for it.
Can you describe the soul?
Can you what?
Can you destroy the soul?
Never. This is what Krishna says to Arjuna. You can't wither it by the wind. You can't cut it with a knife. You can't drown it with water. There's a verse, I can't remember the exact text number, where he says the soul is indestructible. Impossible.
Okay.
Even Krishna cannot destroy it. Okay. Now, how are we doing for time? Okay, we'll take 3 more questions. Now, Shinitya, I know you've had your hand up.
Unmute.
Okay. Yes.
So I have 3 questions.
Wow. Go on.
My first question is, why is the soul imperishable and does it have any powers? My second question.
Hang on. First question is, why is it imperishable and?
Does it have any powers?
Yes, huge powers. It can control the body of an elephant or an ant. So it's hugely powerful. Why is it imperishable? Because it's part and parcel of Krishna, God. That's why it's.
My second question is, why were we separated from the Lord?
Oh my goodness, such an important question. Thank you so much for asking. I'll give you a very short answer because we lack of time. We somehow thought God is having such great time. I wish I was having fun like he is. We became envious of God. We were thinking, I want to become God. So God thought, okay, you want to become God? He created this world for us so that we can try to become God, which is very hard, of course. What's your third question?
My third question is, how many years old is the soul?
How?
How many years old is the soul?
It's eternal. It's you can't even put a figure on it. Billion, trillion, 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 trillion. You can go on forever like that. It's very, very old. Very, very, very old. Okay. Very good question. Thank you. Okay, let's take who has not asked and would like to ask. Anybody who has not asked and like to ask. Riansh.
Yes, Ravi, that I want to tell the answer that in 23 shloka Krishna says that the soul can't be cut into pieces by any weapon, nor burned in fire, not moistened in water or by the wind.
Okay, thank you. And Ardia, you got a question?
Will we know which soul is in our body, Prabhuji?
Well, it's not a question of will we know which soul is our. We are the soul. That's the point. We are that soul. It's not that we are different from the soul. We actually are that soul. Just like in a car, if you're sitting in a car and somebody hits you, and if that person who was hit in the car said, "Hey, you hit me," no, he didn't hit you. He hit the car, right? The car clashed. So if we are thinking, I am the body and I am the soul, that's not right. We are actually only the soul. Just like the car is different from the driver, the soul is different from the body. It's a little hard to completely comprehend this, okay, to understand this. But if you keep reminding yourself, I am spirit, soul, I am not this body, then eventually we will understand that actually whatever happens to this body is not happening to the soul, because the soul is spirit, pure spiritual, connected to Krishna, Supreme Lord. Thank you so much. Now let's see if we can get the quiz going.
Hare Krishna Prabhu. Should I go first?
No, I think Pari can go first. Let Pari go first.
Sure.
So does everybody have the code?
Yes, Prabhuji.
Oh, well done. Oh, thank you very much. So please log on to Kahoot, and Is Pari going to control? Can you share your screen, Pari? The Kahoot thing?
Yes, Prabhuji, sorry, give me 1 second.
Of course, no problem. And thank you, everybody. Really good questions. And next week, I was thinking, Tanvi, if you're there, if you can take on just this first half of the second chapter, 10 questions from it, please. So please, everybody join the Kahoot. If you don't know the code, it is 9992758. All you do, I think, is go to the app or on the website, www.kahoot.it, and then if you put the code 9992758, I think a lot of people are already on. And we want to monitor the first three. Whoever gets the first, who the top three. I can't remember from not last week, 2 weeks ago, who the top three were. I think it was Riyansh, Lokeshwar, and maybe Akasha. But we just need to keep that on track. So Chitra, if you could just put that on the schedule, who's the top three? Okay, go for it, Pari. I think everybody's on.
Oh, there's still a few joining.
Oh, okay, no, that's good. That's good. Thank you, Pari. And appreciate your effort. Really good. Really good.
Thank you. Sorry about last week, everyone.
Not at all. Not at all. We're all learning, and I tell you, you're amazing children. Amazing children.
I think I'll start now.
Yes,
That's
please.
a lot of people. Okay.
Yes, please.
Okay, so the first question is, the divine scripture of the Mahabharata was created by the Lord, Arjuna, Sanjaya, or Srila Vyasadeva. Okay. Yep, so Srila Vyasadeva was the correct answer. And we have Shruti, Rayansh, and Nimai in the top three, followed by Ishwari and Hare Krishna.
I think don't go through that every time.
Okay. Who is the eighth son of King Shantanu and Ganga Devi? Bhishma, Pandu, Vidur, or Rishi Durvasa? So Bhishma was the correct answer.
Excellent.
Dash is known better by his later name Bhishma. So was it Balaram, Dronacharya, Devrata, or Bhim? And the correct answer was Devrata. Wow.
That's good. Very good.
Now, this is a true or false question. Satyavati is King Shantanu's second wife. Is that true or false?
I didn't know you could do true and false as well. Okay, good.
5 seconds left, everyone. All right, yeah, and it was true. Who was Duryodhana's most fierce rival? Was it Bhim, Arjuna, Vidur, or Dronacharya? Bear in mind, all of them didn't like him, actually.
Dronacharya liked him.
Sort of.
Yeah. But yeah, you're right, Dachi. You're right. He didn't like him.
Yeah, so a lot of them got stuck on Arjuna, but Bhim was the correct answer.
Well done. Good question. Little trick question.
Yeah. Okay, so Yudhishthir was the son of Kunti, and which Devta? Was it Indradev, Kamadev, Dharmraj, or Pandu? Well done, everyone. It was Dharmraj. All right, this is another true or false question. Karna was the son of Kunti and Suryadev after her marriage. Is that true or is it false?
Prabhuji, I got kicked out of the quiz.
Oh,
Come back in again.
What
so
is the code?
the code is 9992758.
9992758.
Yeah. Okay, so it was false. Wow, well done, everyone.
Yeah, good. Good.
Wow. That was supposed to be a trick question. Anyway.
Yeah, good.
Okay. Why was Karna at the disposal of Duryodhana even though he knew his dharma? Was it because Karna was his long-lost brother? Because Duryodhana gave him the kingdom of Anga? Or was it because Duryodhana taught him the art of archery? 5 seconds. 3, 2, 1. Yeah,
Very
it
good.
was because he was given the kingdom of Anga.
Very good.
So 9 and 14. In the 13th year of exile, the Pandavas found refuge with King Drupada, King Virata, King Shurasena, or Rishi Vedvyas. Three, 2, 1. King Virata. That's the correct answer.
Tough question. Good one. Well done.
All right, 10. Who was the Devi disrespected in the Dute game? Was it Draupadi, Kunti, Dushala, or Gandhari? Wow, quick answers for this one.
Yeah, I hope they're all right.
Right, 3, 2, 1. It was Draupadi. Wow, well done. Okay, so this is another true or false question. The Kauravas had a bigger army than the Pandavas. It was true. They did indeed. All right, so this is a double points question. How many
Whoa.
verses approximately were spoken in the Mahabharata? Was it 700, 10,000, 10 million, or 110,000? Yeah, yeah. So Krishna was the one actually that spoke 700. This was the whole Mahabharata, so it was 110,000.
Trick question. Nice one.
That was great. The 3 people who got that right, that was great. Who was destined to kill Dronacharya? So was it Arjuna, Drishtadyumna, Shikhandi, or was it Dushasan? 5 seconds.
Prabhuji, I keep on getting kicked out of the meeting.
Oh,
Oh,
maybe
it
see
was
yeah.
it was Drishtadyumna, but Shruti, do you want me to wait until you join back, or
No. You'll have to carry on, unfortunately.
Yes, I'll
Okay.
join again. Thank you.
Okay.
We gotta run out of time.
This is another double points question. Who is also known as the Yagyaseni? This is a real test of your knowledge here. So was it Madri, Satyavati, Draupadi, or Kunti?
Good question. I like it.
Thank you, Prabhuji.
Made me think as well.
So it was indeed
Draupadi.
Draupadi because she was made from fire.
Well done.
So, yeah.
Let's see what the results are.
Okay, so in third place we have Krishay.
Wow, well done.
13 out of 14. Wow. Hare Krishna, I'm not sure who that is. But
Who is that? Yeah. And
Hema.
Emma, my
Wow.
goodness. Well
Wow.
done, Emma. You're
And then we
amazing.
have Riyansh and Prathamesh as runners up.
Okay, so Hare Krishna, we'd like to know who you are. And you shouldn't say Hare Krishna, you should put your actual name so that we identify you, yeah? Otherwise, we may not be able to tick you off on the register as well. Okay, thank you very much, Pali. That was an excellent effort. Excellent.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Prabhuji.
Well done.
Oh, it was Manhar. It was Manhar that was playing as Hare Krishna.
Okay, so Manhar, please in the future do put your proper name, huh? Otherwise we will miss you. Okay, let's see, you share your screen, Manhar. Let's see if we can get this done. We will run out of time. So I'll just while we're waiting for Manhar to share the screen. What's the code number? Where is he? There he is. Manhar, are you there?
Hare Krishna.
What's your code?
I'm just checking.
Okay. So
Coding in and here. There we go. Here's the code.
good. 1840645. So everybody can join. Thank you. We've gone over a little bit. Sorry about that. And next week we'll continue with chapter 2 and finish that. I'd like to thank you all for being such incredible students. Just check if there's any other questions. Whose soul is in our body? We are the soul. Remember, it's not possible to know. We are that soul that is in the body. We are that pure spirit soul destined for the spiritual world at some point. Okay, has everybody joined?
Prabhu, how many people are there in the meeting?
About 25. I think, how many have you got so far? 23, that's enough. Go for your questions.
Okay, starting.
Thank you. Okay, you can.
Who is the only person to say one verse in the Bhagavad Gita? Dhritarashtra, Krishna, Sanjaya, and Arjun.
Nice.
Okay, so that is good. Okay. What happened when the Pandavas and Krishna blew their conch? Kauravas ran away, Kauravas laughed, Kauravas surrendered to the Pandavas, Kauravas' heart shattered.
Nice. Oh, quite a few got it wrong. They laughed.
Why was Arjun not ready to fight in the war? Because he did not trust Lord Krishna, because he did not want to fight with his family members, because Arjun was not strong enough to fight the great warriors. Arjun did not like fighting.
Trick question, actually. Good. Not bad. Many people got it right. That's incredible.
Yeah. Wow. Amazingly. Wherever Krishna is present, who is also present?
Very good.
The goddess of fortune, transcendental conch shell, appearance, activity.
Nice.
This is kind of hard.
No, it's good. Good question. Very good.
Oh, 16. That's nice.
It's good. It's good.
Hurry, catching up. What was the name of Krishna and Arjun conch shell?
Oh,
Ananta Vijaya and Dhananjaya. None of these. Sughosha and Muni Pushpaka.
Panchajanya.
Panchajanya and Devadatta. Or Devadatta.
Tough question. Very good. Very good. 9.
Yeah. Riyansh is catching up. What was the flag on Arjun's chariot marked with? Hanuman, none of these. Fire god, sword. Five seconds left. Good job. 19.
Very good.
Why did Arjun ask Krishna to go in between the midst of the two armies? Because he wanted to see the leading person on the battlefield, both A and B, to see how strong the Kaurava side is. None of these. This is kind of trick.
Yeah, it's a tricky question. That's a tricky one, yeah. Even I'm flummoxed by that one.
It is both A and B.
Ah, okay, good. Well done.
So Prabhuji, Nimai helped me with the Kahoot, so he's gonna get everything right. So the second person to get it, second person to get the most question right win is first.
Yeah, well done. Manhar, you're a very fair person.
The chariot on which Arjun and Krishna was seated was donated by the fire god Indra, the sun god, and Lord Shiva. And the fire god.
Yeah, only 7. That was a tough question. Did you get all these questions from chapter 1?
Yeah.
Okay, from the purports as well, huh? Okay, good.
Prabhuji, I again got kicked out. I don't know what to do.
Oh, must be your internet. It's your internet.
Oh, but Riyansh is second.
Yeah, he's first actually, yeah.
Who got kicked out?
No, Shruti.
Yeah, who got kicked out?
No, that's okay. Carry on.
I thought it was Riyansh. What does Bhagavad Gita mean? The gift from God, the song of God, the words of God, the knowledge from God.
Good question.
This is kind of, 20 got it right.
Excellent.
And I think this is the last one. And here we go. Who was the Gurudev of Sanjaya?
Very good.
Sri Vedavyas, Dronacharya, Bhishma, or Parshuram? This might be a little bit hard.
No, that's a good question. Good question.
Okay. Oh, good job.
Not bad, not bad.
So here we go. Chapter 1.
Well done. Thank you very much, Manhar.
Pari, you came second.
Yeah. So
Riyansh, you came first, and
Nimai.
Nimai.
So Riyansh,
Riyansh.
And who's number 4? Who's fourth? Akasha.
4 is
Akasha.
So Akasha, you came third.
Yeah. So Chitra, if you're there, if you mark those on the Excel schedule, please. Thank you so much. And yeah, good. Thank you, everybody. That was really, really enjoyable. I hope everybody had a good time. And sorry, we ran over because we did 2 quizzes. But next week, hopefully, we'll be back onto schedule again. Appreciate all your questions, your time and your concentration. I'll share the presentation on the group and also the recording. So please listen to it again or see the notes if you need to. Thank you, everybody.
Hare Krishna.
Wish you good evening. Hare Krishna, everybody. Thank you.
Hare Krishna.
Thank you,
Hare
Pari.
Krishna.
Nice one.